What is going on, Elephant Money Herd? Welcome
Man,
back.
I love that damn intro, AG.
I know, man. I was dancing over here. I was getting my groove on. Let's go.
Nice little beat to it.
I was jamming out. That's for sure.
It looks like you're in a new location.
Yeah, I'm in my new office. I got my new microphone, but in the process, I lost the camera. So I'm on my. But we'll get it all straightened out. Maybe I'll be green screen next week. So.
Yeah, congratulations on the new move, man. I know that's a big life shakeup. So happy that you're in your new spot. And hey, before you know it, all these gains coming in, you'll have to move again. Oh God, do it all over again.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. We're this house is pretty solid. So
you don't want to move again?
I mean, I know I'll move again because we're just renting this house, but I'm kind of hoping maybe after the kids go, me and Mama can buy a condo.
Oh my God! Look at this touchdown! Boom!
Boo! I got the Eagles. Who you got, AG? Who you got?
Oh, I don't know. Who do you think I got? Over here watching the Bucks.
Let's go.
Touchdown! It's 9-0 right now.
Dang,
first quarter. There we go.
Hey, it's early. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Rugs to Riches. Let's talk about the riches that's going to happen in the crypto market as we enter the bull market coming up.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit. Do we want to talk about elephant first or go into the charts?
Let's talk elephant first. Let's talk about it.
So you guys are gonna have to fill me in on a little bit of stuff. I believe I saw something about version 8 coming out for futures. What's going on with that? Do you know anything about that, Zach?
Sure, I'll take it off. So recently, after the migration from BUSD, that futures used the stablecoin BUSD. Unfortunately, there was some government decrees. The U.S. government obviously is having some back and forth with the Binance corporation. And with that, Binance themselves decided to sunset BUSD. And part of that means that they no longer will support that stablecoin in the long run. So unfortunately, Elephant Money is actually, deeply involved with BUSD as we're one of the largest BUSD and BNB holders on chain for the network. And so what that meant was that there needs to be a migration to now move on to which the future of futures. That's funny to say, but which is now based in the BNB currency. So with all that being said, now that there's been a migration to the BNB token, there's also now talk of upgrading futures in order to benefit actors who act in a certain way, and then have a group rate for futures for people who maybe are serial claiming, meaning that they are maybe compounding their futures account to a large amount, and then then taking out as a bunch of their compounded monies. But overall, this V8 update that we're going to keep talking about, the big takeaway is that we're now awaiting to see when this new update comes out. And just from the rumors and kind of the little bit of information we understand of it, it seems as if that each futures account will have a personal profile, meaning that the behavior of each individual will have a history on chain, and that will determine, what they get, depending if it's the 0.5% APR or the group rate or somewhere in between.
So how do you track that? By the wallet address?
Yeah. So the wallet, that's what's so great about cryptocurrency is everything, at least that occurs on a blockchain, and it's a public blockchain, all of that is public information. So what that means is there's a history of every single transaction from the time the wallet was funded, withdrawn, interacted with different contracts on the network. So all of that information is stuck. There's a history. And so what that means is that something like Futures V8, it can take that history into account per each wallet and make a certain distinct, have different behaviors depending on the behavior of that wallet.
So now what happens if you decide to sell your futures bag and the person that buys it has a different address, of course? Then how do you track it at that point?
So that's just another transaction in terms of the blockchain. It shows, as you know, may or may not know, futures is has the ability to transfer between wallets, as AG is mentioning. So let's say AG, he's been grinding with futures, he's built up his futures position, and then he decides, hey Zach, you want this futures position? I say sure. So even you sending that to a new wallet address, that also is still tracked on the blockchain. So even the previous history, even if it was transferred from a different account, is still all associated with that wallet, or with that account, that futures
Okay,
account.
so if, let's say I was a serial claimer and I get lumped into the main group, and I sell to you who's never claimed and always deposited. So do you have to? Does my wallet stay now
Yeah,
that it's in your hands? It stays at the group rate, not the
yeah,
individual rate.
that's the bajillion-dollar question. We're still awaiting the further details after Bank Teller releases this update. So we'll have to see what exactly that looks like. From what I'm going to, if I can throw in my opinion and my guess of what
Your
this
2 cents.
this is my 2 cents, yeah, my two Bitcoin, a little bit more than 2 cents. I think that he mentions at the end of the most recent voice chat, and if you're not in the Elephant Money Telegram group, that's the best place to get the newest updates and follow the protocol very closely. But at the end of that voice message, he mentions having a scalar value attached to each account. What that means is, so let's say right now the group rate is 0.19% daily, 0.19.
Mhm.
And let's just say you are on something like a 21/7 schedule, meaning, every 21 days you add $200 worth of BNB to compound. You
Yeah.
wait 7 days, and then you claim, and you can continue something on like that schedule. Um, right. That seems to be, we don't know yet. Like I said, this is all speculation, but that seems to be what is denoted as, a good behavior account. And that doesn't necessarily mean that will get the 0.5%. It may mean it's a a scalar value of the group rate. So maybe the group rate's at 0.19, and maybe a good behavior gets twice that, might be get
Mm.
0.38. So
I
it
wonder.
all will depend on the herd's activity and behavior. I think this is super bullish because, as you know, right, everyone's entering at different times, and in
Mhm.
the good times in the bull market, when funds are flowing and we're getting new participants every day, right? That 0.5 is sustainable and is active. However, whenever there's a lull in the market, and like I said, it happened just when we've done this kind of major migration to the BNB
Mhm.
future side. That's what caused kind of, if you will, we spooked the herd. The herd got spooked. You don't want to spook Bertha, but and you can't spook Bertha, but the herd themselves, right? They can be emotional sometimes, and essentially, right? Some people who may have gotten into futures on day one, which was almost 300 plus days now, where I believe January 27th is futures 1 year birthday. So almost 330 or 345 days or so that futures has been running, right? There's people who deposited 50,000 BUSD on day one of futures. They've been compounding, compounding, compounding. And essentially what I'm getting at is, right, they now have rather large accounts, and these potential players could potentially have taken out excess of the BNB reserve, right? They were claiming, which they are entitled to, and that cascades with other people. And so what I'm getting at is this new update will mitigate that and allow each person to receive a yield that is based upon their activity. So I think it's very bullish.
What do you think, Goldwyn? Do you like the idea?
I absolutely think that it should be kind of personalized. And to kind of answer what your question was, I think it would have to go to the wallet, not the person. So, like you were saying, if you were a bad actor to begin with and then you sold your account, well, the person that's inheriting your account is going to inherit those bad tendencies or whatever you want to say. If it
Mhm.
wasn't that way, then you could just transfer it to yourself, and then be like, oh, now it's a new wallet.
Yeah.
So I think the
One thing, if I could jump in real quick, I don't really like the. Yeah, I want to go on record. I don't like the good and bad wallet, right? I wish we could figure maybe a claiming wallet versus a serial claimer versus a what would you call it? Not a serial claimer, a responsible claimer. So I think that's, the, good and bad, because are they bad for, once again, using the on-chain smart contract as built? I think no, there's no moral judgment in that case.
Right. I think it really comes down to, how BT draws that line, however he draws it. You're on this side of the line, you're good. You're on this side of the line, you're bad. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be interpreted. And we don't know that. We don't know that if a 21/7, claiming compounding schedule, or 14/16, whatever, we won't know until that update is. But something definitely had to change from the V7. And who knows, because when V7 came in, it just might be that the people are in that uncertainty stage again, right? And so the BNB reserve was drained. We did hit equilibrium. It's been pretty solid for the last three days or so. And I don't think there's been that many more deposits to balance it out. I just think that we got to that natural equilibrium, which is what BT was saying, and same thing that SK said too. Everybody's like, oh, BT said floor is going to be 0.1%. Well, floor right now has been about 18%. So, and everybody's like, oh, that's so much lower than the 0.5 that we agreed to, but if you think of, I think Mike Drake said 0.19 is still 100% APY a year. So I know that it's a lot lower than what we were expecting with the 0.5. But when you're talking about, you're still an account that you're compounding, daily, monthly, weekly, and still getting 100% APY a year. That's just.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Here's my thought on the whole process. If you go into it knowing, like, let's say you're someone new, got into it a month ago or 2 months ago, 5%, or not 5%, but 0.5% every day from what your money in, and you don't get that money out. So you decided to commit that money. Let's say you're one of those guys that took a loan and put that in there, and then all of a sudden it changes and drops the rate that wasn't the agreement. If you would have known that ahead of time, maybe you wouldn't have risked getting a loan or putting a whole big bag of money in there. But transparency, I've got a small bag of futures. Nothing crazy.
You have a small bag elsewhere too, son.
That's called a small sack. But yeah, so I'm not harping on it because I got nothing really lost in futures. But for the other people that are out there that are like, hey man, I put 10, 20 grand in there and I was expecting to get this. I wouldn't have put that much money in there if I would have known it was going to be variable. What do you say to those people? What do you think? How do we address that to them?
I'll start just one comment. I always, like you're mentioning, you make a plan and then work your plan. So someone who, let's say they, took a $10,000 and put it in, right? They should know by their plan, hey, I'm going to compound for 6, 12 months, whatever it may be. They already knew that they were getting involved in a long-term thing. If you were thinking that I'm just going to compound on 7 days and claim, like, it, depending on what I'm getting at, depending on your strategy, you knew that you were going to have a long ROI if that's your goal, to be able to, get back that 10,000 more.
But what happens when you're thinking, oh, I'll get 5 or 0.5% a day? If I wasn't going to get that, if I was going to get 1.8,
sure,
maybe I would have took that money and bought Solana or whatever.
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally get you. I think, like you're saying, if you were, went into it with that strategy, then it is, you are unfortunately, in a bad position now. And what I was going to get at real quick is that, right, crypto is highly volatile and highly risky. There's no insurance, there's no FDIC guarantee, there's no guarantee, right? So what I was getting at is you have to approach everything in crypto with that mindset. There's a lot of, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't you shouldn't commit funds to new and exciting and risky projects. However, you have to understand that that's what crypto is. It's an emerging asset class. And with that, one last thing I'll mention is, like I said, study the contract or the ecosystem prior to getting involved. Meaning, as we know, futures is, like I said, is it's best if you put in $200. You compound more frequently. So if you're the type of person who's taking out a loan to invest in crypto, I think that's a terrible decision. You should only use money you're willing to lose. It's highly volatile and risky. Even buying Bitcoin is highly volatile and risky. Think about all the people who bought it at $69,000 or 60,000 plus who are still underwater and etc. What I'm getting at is there's no safe bets in crypto. There's no safe havens. There's nothing guaranteed. So don't get me wrong. I totally understand that the upset, if you took on more risk and then you had no idea this could happen, but at the same time, you have to take a step back and walk slowly anywhere in the crypto space. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. What I think is that I really hope V8 does allow for those people that have been good actors and they're totally pissed off. Hopefully they can just chill for 200 days and hit that button and get their money back. That's what I hope, because, I believe in the project. I believe, I really felt when he did switch it like that, and it really there was no real vote or whatever. I know there isn't a vote, but it wasn't even really talked about. And I feel like it's given the ecosystem a black eye. And, V8, it seems like people have not 180, but I can see where it's kind of calmed the nerves. So people are now going, okay, let's see what's going to go on. I've been a good actor, in quotation marks, since we don't know what it is, so I should be at that 0.5%, and I know that there are several people that, are really like, no, go, FBT, he's changed it. This is bad character. I want my money back. For those people, I hope that there is that button that they can literally just say, I want to opt out. And then all the disclaim, they get 0.5. And when their time is up, they can get out, because that's still 200 days. If someone decides right now that I want out, there's still 200 days at that 0.5,
It's basically like shades out the deposit button.
Yep. I feel like there should be an opt out button for a month, 30 days. I think 30 days is a fair time. If you're not checking back on your money at least once every 30 days, I feel like, you missed the boat, right? It shouldn't be a week or something, but I really do. I really hope when VA comes out, I hope there is an opt out button and they can hit it and literally it just locks their account. And in 200 days, they can withdraw their money.
I like that, honestly. I didn't think of that actually yet, but like you're saying, people who, want to get out, give them an opportunity. And the people who understand, or people who want to continue to get involved in this project, let them continue to do their schedule as needed.
I think that's a pretty fair compromise.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the big thing that I've been seeing in Discord and in various chat rooms that I'm in is they know that it's a long term. They knew when they put their money in that it would take at least 200 days. And from what I've gathered, I mean, some people are like, no, I want my money back. Well, the contract doesn't say that. So you want your money back? Well, then you wait the 200 days. That's what you agreed to when you put your money in to begin with, before all these other changes. That's the way that the contract was set up. And I think that's fair. I get it. He's changed the contracts. He's changed this. We don't even know what VA is going to be. We know it's going to be some kind of variable rate, but we don't know, it's flip a coin. Did I do something wrong today and now my stuff's cut down? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll think of something good.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. That's if any to talk, good experience with Bank Teller, which I've had a great experience my entire Elephant Money. With all the ups and downs, whether it be Stampede or all these sorts of the exploit that occurred. Right, that's one thing that we can talk about. The character of Bank Teller is he's an individual who doesn't give up and is not going anywhere, and as well as right, I think he has the right motives. There's other developers in the space who it's clear as day that they have no moral integrity and they have no reason to really fight for their people they're working with. But I think about I don't know, throw more FUD on people's name, but other developers who shake their booty on the TV screen and they make a movie and they show their diamond watch, right? That this is clearly not an individual who has the best interest for their constituents. So what I was going to say is, right, bank teller, in my opinion, I've followed many of these different personality developers, right? I haven't found one with that moral integrity and one that's not going anywhere as much as I found it with bank teller. So that's why I have full conviction and faith that this bump in the road, this black eye, right, will be healed and will continue to march forward. That's the thing that he's mentioned as well. People are only, once again, it goes back to not understanding the nuances to the ecosystem, right? People see the BNB reserve going down and they assume that, okay, oh, when it goes to zero, right, this whole thing is blown up. But we forget Bertha is the key to the success of the ecosystem. And Bertha is almost
100.
back to her,
100.
full, she's getting stronger and stronger each day. And right, so what I was going to get at is, right, the protocol is still very healthy. There's still millions and millions of dollars in liquidity, right? There's still so much to celebrate. And, like I said, in the short term, we must understand the long view and understand, like you're saying, 200 days plus, when you get involved with this thing, there's going to be ups and downs. So
yeah, I think one thing people need to do is just kind of chill and take a step back, right? What you were just saying, I wanted to expand upon about the Treasury and Bertha is the linchpin, right? I think we kind of got away from that when that first sell-off hit and everybody said, oh, if you want security, you need to go into futures. Well, I felt like that took a lot of money out of or stuffed a lot of elephant back into the LPs, right? That Bertha's buying. One thing that I can say, even with all of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's been going on for the last 10 days since V7 started, Bertha's been steady. She hasn't risen a whole lot, but she hasn't fallen off a cliff either, right? Because she's been paying all the people that wanted their money, she's been paying for it, or she's been paying them back. So whether you're in NFTs, whether you're in futures, whether you're in trunk, every single one of those things benefit by elephant money having the LPs drained. So if you're in trunk, you should be buying elephant. If you're in NFTs, you should be buying elephant. If you're in futures and you want 0.05%, you should be buying elephant, right? And the thing that happened is in that second parabolic rise, the only problem we had was weak hands that took profit, which is fine, right? No one is saying don't sell any of your coins, but you don't dump 8 trillion elephant on your fellow herd members, right? So
how would you have done it?
What I would have done, I would have sold probably 1% a day. We were going up 2%. So if I just sold 1% of my bag a day during that run,
we weren't going up 2%. Oh, you're talking about a while ago.
Yeah, during the second parabolic run to
like 60 days ago. That's not that far. That's very short term. Even 90 days ago.
That's a long time ago for crypto.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and that's why this project's different, is because it's 3 years old and older. It doesn't act like typical projects that last for 6 months, and so like a week is like 10% of its lifetime.
Zach, you have to forgive AG. He's only usually in those things that last 30 days to 60 days. So being an elephant that's 3 years old is new to him.
Yeah, and I wanted to jump on what you're saying, Goldwyn, right? That the focus of draining the LPs, because once again, that is the secret to success. The larger the herd, the more users we have with elephant tokens that they're holding for, multiple X's or a certain time horizon. These are the things that will once again make the whole ecosystem sing. And so I think getting back to the focus of the elephant token, which is the bedrock of the whole ecosystem. The more we get back to promoting elephant, just buying and holding elephant, and then saying, because we've always, and this is also a true testament when people come in and they said, I have 20 grand in futures, but I have 0 NFTs, 0 elephant token. Like, I don't understand. Once again, what's the one thing? And that this is a very, you can go look at the chat history, which is also awesome about Telegram. Every single person who comes to ask for not financial advice, it's always, discussed that, hey, you need to get your elephant bag first, whether it be 10 billion tokens, 100 billion, whatever is in your price range or more, before you start researching and deciding to get involved in the other parts of the ecosystem. So what I was getting at, I want to get back to that message and let people know that that is the best way that we all succeed the fastest, is if we focus on elephant token and getting it out of the LPs.
So we just
Well,
need
one,
to keep the eye on elephant.
well, one
High
thing
elephant.
SK had a phone chat the other day that wasn't recorded or anything. There was, I think, 25 people came in and out. But even if the humans were to catch Bertha right now, the difference between Bertha and the humans is about 30 trillion. Bertha is 30 trillion ahead. If the humans can just catch Bertha, if Bertha didn't do anything in the time frame that the humans catch Bertha, we would be under 100 trillion. And if we were under 100 trillion, we would be over our all-time high. So that's all we have to do as a herd. If people want elephant money to be back to 60 cents per million, is drain the LPs. If we can catch Bertha, where that's what the challenge of the herd should be. The challenge should be to flip Bertha. And if I could challenge anybody that owns if you're part of the protocol and you believe in it, the herd should literally be pulling together and trying to flip Bertha again.
Yeah. It reminds me, we talked about GameStop and the power when a community aligns their energy and aligns their purpose. Look what we can break traditional finance. And what's so great about, and they can pull levers and make the stock stop trading and make do that all the crazy things that they have the power to in traditional finance, where was that in the contract about them stopping trading? Anyway, what I'm getting at is exactly what you're saying is, if the herd comes together and focuses their economic energy, then we all succeed and blow past our all-time high. And I like that, like you're mentioning, that metric. If we can show daily, hey, this is where the herd's at, this is where Bertha's at, let's get her, let's chase her, let's keep building that number, let's see that number go up each day.
Yeah, and then after that, that's the each one teach one of responsible selling. Everybody knows that we're gonna sell some of our tokens. I personally, I have over 100 billion. There's 100 billion that I'll never sell because I believe in the protocol. So anything that's over 100 billion, yes, I'm going to responsibly sell. A billion here, a billion there. So I'm not delusional to think that people aren't going to sell. But what you need to do is you need to responsibly take profit along the way, right? Because if we're all taking small bits of profit as it's going up, that's not going to destroy our chart. Because what did we say in the last parabolic run? The thing that sold us the most was the chart. And we're going sideways. We're lucky we were looking at the charts earlier. That we did go about. We're above the long-term downtrend trend line.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast. Yeah.
I can barely say it one time.
Yeah, that's exciting as well, like you're mentioning. And I think that's part of what, elephant strength, having Bertha and etc., that we can easily, build a beautiful chart, one that is not often seen in anywhere in finance. And we've done it twice, and we're going to do it again. It's inevitable as long as there's engagement and activity on the protocol level. So yeah, that's the focus. Each one teach one, drain the LPs, and then study and take appropriate risk. That's the thing too. I feel bad, but at the same time, I've seen people, they did take out a large loan and they put it all in, or they did take out their whole savings, and they're like, okay, but it's like, you got to understand that there's risk. There's real risk. People love the risk when it goes up, when when everything's going up high. They're like, oh, this is great, I can't find this anywhere else. And then when it's going real far down, oh, I can't find this anywhere else. So you just got to understand risk management. I think that's a huge part. 90, I don't know the exact figure, but I would argue probably 90% of people who get involved in investing, they lose money because they don't treat it as a competitive, not, a very, it's not your, if you want to go safety, go buy government bonds, right? Go do the easy peasy method. But if not, stick to DCA. DCA is such a powerful strategy. I've been talking a lot about that in my chat as well. Whether it is futures or elephant token or whatever, even Bitcoin, it's all about time in the market instead of trying to time the market. It is awesome if you can buy right now, go big right now at 29 cents. I think that's fantastic. But let's say you couldn't, it's about that consistent DCA. That's how you can win no matter bear or bull.
It's 29 cents right now.
Is that what we're saying? I think, yeah,
I don't know,
28 and a half. I think 27.
Let's get into money lines and take a look at the charts. You guys ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right.
Now let's take a look at the charts and see how the crypto market is looking this week with Goldwyn. This is Money Lines on the Rugs2Riches show.
All right.
Hey, this week is going to be Zach showing, but Goldwyn will still be the preacher tonight. I'll start real quick here with Elephant. I got it pulled up, and just like Goldwyn was mentioning, right, a lot of the sells when people didn't want the volatility of Elephant, right? They wanted futures. However, we've kind of, I think he mentioned we broke that large downtrend resistance line, and we're sitting at 28.
If you could zoom in right there at the end, that green wick. Yep.
Keep going.
No, I think that's good. Yeah. So yep. So you can see the little kind of U that we make with the red candle going down. It kind of makes like a little W there. So that, if you were actually we had my chart from last week, that green line that we've been tracking actually hits the top of that red candle and then hits the bottom or about midway of that green candle. Yep, right there. So we've now gone past that downtrend line and we're coming back and we're testing it. So we've been tracking it. We've been hitting our head against it. We've been talking about resistance and support levels, right? The more times you bounce off of something, it's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And that's what we've been doing for the last week. Every one of those little candles has been hitting the trend line, right? And we finally broke through it, and now we're coming down, and now we're hitting the top of that trend line. So now we're gonna,
high lows, something like this.
Bam. You would be down. Yep, right there. Oh, up a little bit more. Up a little bit more. Down just a little bit. Down just a little bit. Right there.
Okay, because it hit through that. I see.
Yep.
Looks
and
good.
so as you can see, these are daily candles, I believe. So the last week we've been hitting that blue line. Bang, 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 bang. We've been hitting our head on the ceiling, right? Trying to punch through it. And then you can see we punched through it, and now our candle's coming down. It'll hit that line, and then we'll either crab sideways or we'll start slowly going up is what I believe will happen from here.
I always, I'm fascinated with like this Fibonacci retracement tool that I just drew down, because we can see here that each of these fib levels, right, there's resistance, or there's activity, kind of consolidation, at this line at the 618, here at the 382, there seems to be activity here at the 236. So
it is so crazy how that works, and the Fibonacci, if people aren't familiar with it, that's literally, if you look at the seashells, those little spiral seashells, that's the Fibonacci retracement numbers. So it's so crazy.
Seashell.
Yeah.
We're basically looking at this on the chart right now. Does it confuse you some more? But
so as for elephant money,
we into the Fibonacci, we're bottomed out. Is that how that works?
Well, no, how you draw your Fibonacci, you draw from top to bottom. So we can still go down, but you can see from the top that he drew, and then we drew to the bottom. But all of those lines are already there. All the human nature just takes it, right? And they make their natural support and resistant lines.
And see how we touched it, broke down, touched it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So elephant. So if you're looking to buy, looks pretty good to me. So keep DCAing. But moving forward to just the overall all market, I got to give AG, give me a high five through the camera. Boom. We called it, man. This is why you listen to Rugs2Riches. We called it for weeks, right? The Bitcoin ETF was a sell the news event. We've been trying to get everybody who watches the show, to understand at a higher level than what they tell you, what the man on the TV tells you, right? You have to understand that. And once this humongous news, right, as the event has occurred, what's next? And because there's no other, now that, what's next now is, there's going to be an Ethereum ETF. But what I'm getting at is there was no catalyst to continue to drive, huge amounts of capital in the short term. Don't get me wrong. I'm still super bullish. I think these ETFs will help in the long run, but in the short term, I think it was a clear as day sell the news opportunity.
So I heard somebody said that there's going to be a huge sell-off tomorrow. Has anybody heard anything about that?
Yeah, who said that?
Somebody in chat. I don't even
Little
know what chat
birdie.
room it was.
Why
Yeah,
would you, but he never said.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I thought maybe you guys would know.
No. Why wouldn't she ask the guy in the chat?
I was busy, Alan. I have 2 children. I have a wife. I have a dog that sleeps snoring on the floor.
You will address me as Crypto AG.
Oh, you're funny as heck. And
all right, AJ.
Yeah. What was your name when we started the series a few times?
Hell if I know.
a few different names, but Bitcoin overall, right? Just kind of consolidating, just kind of, there are some, like you're mentioning, Goldwyn. There are some people who are saying the top's in for the year, 48,000, whatever is the top for this year. I'm not personally one of those people. I think, this is the halving year. We have a few more months until the halving. And I think following that will then continue to kind of grind upward. And then my prediction is end of 2024, beginning of 2025, we might see some more fireworks. That's Bitcoin. And I think the rest of the market kind of has followed suit.
So when's the halving? Is it August or September?
April, I believe. Let's see. Halving.
It's April?
Yeah. April 22nd is my guess. Let's see. Halving calculator, if I can type. Later Bitcoin. And this is
my prediction is March. We'll have a rally from whatever we're at, a low point or whatever. And once we hit the halving, there'll be another sell the news.
I can see that. Let's see this here.
I think a month out, people start FOMOing in.
So April 17th is the current estimation. Just for some more background, right? I think I'll look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's every 210,000 blocks that are mined is what triggers the next event. So that's why it's a rough estimation, because each block confirmation isn't always the same. So, right, this date will continue to vary, maybe go up or down a little bit, but we know it's going to be roughly sometime in mid-April. So 92 days, I think, you're going to have time. Keep packing your bags now, keep DCAing now. I think Elephant's amazing at these prices personally, but DCA in your favorite cryptos and prepare yourself for when kind of the market heats up again. I saw this interesting kind of metric. I would love to have it pulled up, but I can't find it off the moment, but there's some sort of, I guess, hash rate, fair market value. There's some sort of other metric that they try to
I've heard of it.
Calculate Bitcoin's fair market value. And I said, I don't have too much detail about this, but I think right now the difficulty of mining and, all that kind of stuff, I think they were saying it's, the fair market value is like $430,000 per Bitcoin.
What?
So I thought that was crazy. So I don't know exactly what that's referencing, but that was interesting. I'll pull it up maybe next week.
What's up, Mike?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, what's up, Mike?
Oh yeah, what's going on, everyone tuning in? Thank you guys for coming in. What are you guys DCing these days? You got some elephant in your car, got some NFTs while BNB is still low. Trunk, I personally, I'm holding off on Trunk a little bit more. But I'm looking to, like I said, probably elephant and this kind of climate. But is there any other charts you guys want me to pull up for one of the bigger tokens?
Let's do Ethereum real quick. I want to check that out, because that was pumping right after the Bitcoin news.
Yeah, historically that's kind of what it does, right? Bitcoin goes up, and then Ethereum, and then the top 10.
Yeah, let's see if my chart will load here. It looks like my internet's having a fun time now. Bum, bum.
We are all waiting with you, Mike. We're taking bets. Elephant NFTs. I like it. That's what AM69 is DCAing.
That's
What do you
great.
think AM stands for? AM
Ama-
69. What does AM go for?
Amanda McNeely.
That's quite a
Amanda
guess.
Healy. I would say,
Jesus
I'm-
Christ, just guess. You don't have to take about 97 minutes.
listen, I want to make sure I get it right. The
Dead
69
air, dead air kills. Oh, at least
initial.
their
Oh,
initials.
okay.
There you go.
Amanda McNeely. Ooh,
Hey, it's right now.
I
Coin
I don't
Vic-
think it's. I don't think it. I think it's a man.
okay. Well, then what? Aaron.
How many females do you know with a 69?
Anybody born in '69? I mean,
Oh,
what are you talking
that's
about?
true. That's true too.
All right. CoinGecko
Whatever.
loaded up Ethereum. So kind of like you were mentioning, right? We had this pump at the beginning, about a week ago, up to 2,500, and we've since pulled back, right a little bit above 2,500. So yeah, that's what often happens. Like you were mentioning, I could pull that up too, but I really suspect that this cycle is going to be no different than the last two, where Bitcoin receives capital and attention and inflow into Bitcoin. People look for higher risk, higher return, so it flows into these layer ones like Ethereum, BNB, Cardano, Avalanche, Solana, right? And then people now have these native L1 tokens. They hear, hey, you can learn about DeFi, or hey, you can get involved in NFT projects, and then the money trickles down. So it's always it's a top-down approach, and from what I've seen multiple, for the last two cycles, and I suspect it's going to be no different this time. So Bitcoin is the king, right? If we look here at the top, we can see the Bitcoin dominance in terms of the whole market cap of cryptocurrency, right? We're sitting at 1.7 trillion, and of that, 47% of those funds of that capital is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the king. We got to watch it, and then take on higher risk once money flows out of Bitcoin into other things.
What do you think the next big coin is that's going to pump?
BNB.
You think it's BNB?
That's a good question. Are you saying like a big token that's already like a top 100 token, or?
I'd say, yeah, top 100 is fine.
I've heard good things about Caspa, but it's also had a good run this past year. And then Stacks, I think, is fascinating, like DeFi on Bitcoin. So I think I can see Stacks having a big run up.
What's the market cap on Stacks? Is it over $1 billion?
2.3 billion. Yeah.
Oh, geez,
It's already pretty big. But
I'm
hey,
trying to find an under $1 billion coin that I can buy.
all right, Bitcoin's at 836 billion. So something that involves the Bitcoin network, and kind of, I could see that being worth, multiple billions too, if Bitcoin's, $1 trillion+ asset. But under $1 billion, let's see. Let's go. We might have to go to under. Let's see over here. KuCoin.
Hey, real quick, let me cut you off there. Hey, Mike, we did talk about that a little bit earlier. I don't know if you're just joining us. We really don't know what good behavior. We put that in quotation marks, just the same as you, little rabbit ears. We're all just kind of waiting. We're not trying to speculate. But it will definitely be some kind of deposit more than you're withdrawing, I'm sure. But we don't know. So anything that we say will be just speculation at this time. But if you catch the rebroadcast tomorrow, the first, I think 30 minutes, we talked about futures and elephant. So
here's your risky play, AG Terra Luna Classic, man. That's not
negatory on that one.
Yeah, I don't even know how it has that big of a market cap now. I think it's probably just traders having fun with it.
Probably. So Goldwyn, he's big on Theta.
Theta.
Yeah.
Love it.
Fill your bag. What's going on with Theta to the
people? Well, Theta's working on doing decentralized content delivery. One of the co-founders was a co-founder of YouTube. So he's a big backer of Theta. Theta owns 13 patents in the United States. They have 6 pending. Woo. Of those 13 patents, I think 2 of them deal with microtransactions, monetary microtransactions. So there's 10 billion total coins. They're already they're already out, and of those 10 billion, I think 80% are locked. a few of the people that are running nodes are Google, Sony. There's another real big one too. I think Verizon has one. And to have an enterprise node, I think they have 1 million data locked up.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
what's your prediction for this bull run for the? Because right now it's $1.03. It's
Yeah.
basically 15x just to get back to its all-time high.
Yeah, I think it could be 25 to 35 this will run.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That's fascinating too, because right here, like we talk about protocols that can survive, they build a community, they build a brand, right? People know about them. So almost 3 years ago, this token's been around. So yeah, I mean, that's, I'm interested now with all of this kind of information you're mentioning. Just charts like these, you always want to buy. This is a great risk to reward ratio, right? You have so much upside, and it's basically found a floor here at the bottom. So
Yeah.
this is maybe another, back to DCAing. If if you have $200 a month to invest in crypto, you might want to look into putting $20 into or $50 into 4 different projects. Each their own. But this is the type of chart you want to look for, with the caveat that it has utility and it has a reason to pump to the next cycle. The one thing I'll mention it though, just as another kind of warning, that every new cycle brings with it new tokens. So sometimes people get too laser focused on other older coins, but you have to remember every bull run introduces a whole new class of tokens. It's really cool if you look at like the top 10 tokens in 2013, right? You had like barbecue coin, you still had Bitcoin, you had all these crazy stuff. But what I was getting at, each cycle, right, there's all new, it's a new freshman class. So, and then the big boys stay around. Yeah,
I think the main thing that you said there is utility, right? You definitely, out of those top 100, 40 of them are going to fall out 100%, right? The 60 that stay are going to be the ones that do have true utility. And actually, I don't even think Theta is in the top 100 anymore.
No, they are. They're like 78, I think.
Are they? Theta hit, I think, 12 at one point in time. They were the 12th highest crypto at one last bull run.
Right
so
here.
That
a billion. I'll go to the top 100 again.
Yeah, 73. Ranked number 73.
So, yeah, another thing for Theta too is you can't stake it. You have to have 1,000 to stake. Staking rewards are paid in T fuel, which is another token. That's what fuels the environment. I'm not saying that it's spectacular. I think it's 2 or 3% a year. But just from holding the Theta that I've had, I've made more in rewards than I paid to get my Theta tokens. But I've been holding Theta since 15 cents.
Nice. Cool. Any other and we can wrap this up and move on to the news. Is there any more coins you want to look at?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned new coins coming to the market have a better upside usually than the older ones. 2 layer ones that I have just came out within the last couple of months during the bull market or bear market. What Aptos? You guys heard of that?
I've heard of Aptos, yeah.
Yep, Aptos, and another one called Sui or SUI.
Sui. Like
so do you guys know anything about those?
I've just got one nightmare story about Sui, I'll tell you. But you have anything, AG? I mean, Goldwyn?
No, I don't. I've heard of Aptos, and other than AJ asking me last week about Sui, I don't know anything about it.
Who the mother F is AJ?
Oh my gosh, let me tell you my nightmare story on Sui. I always like to look at every person who talks about crypto and etc. But one gentleman I found who hopefully will come on the show soon, a gentleman go by the name of FOMO, but he has more of a higher risk, more jumping in, jumping out of new projects. And I was in his Telegram, and there was a Super Saiyan, like the Dragon Ball Z. There was a Saiyan token on the Sui network. And I just flooded it to my community. I was like, what is this? Garbage, But this gentleman was just saying, hey, there's new meme coins coming out on Sui. And it's, it looks to be, hot right now. And sure enough, I faded it. I was like, you know, I've seen a million meme coins launch. You know, they always pump and dump, and everyone's like, what happened? You will not believe what happened. That the day it launched, you know, I see it, it pumped, and then it dumped. And I, you know, I patted myself on the back like, I knew this was gonna happen. I go to sleep and I wake up. Guess what it did when the time I woke up in the, you know, 7-8 hours I was asleep. That from when it had pumped, dumped dumped 50%. What do you think the return was over that 8-hour period?
Probably went up 100x.
Exactly. Yep. It did 100x in about
Oh,
those 8
geez.
hours.
That's so
So
crazy.
yeah, very, you know, crazy stuff like that in crypto happens. This is not an endorsement for meme coins, but things like, you
Yeah.
know, might have been worth putting $50 in. That would have been pretty nice to wake up.
Yeah, if you look at the 1-year chart, I mean, it only came out probably May of last year,
Mhm.
so it's not even a year old,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
and
I-
it's still down from its launch date. And it's what is it? 1 point something billion market cap.
Let's see here. Yeah, 1.5, almost 1.5 billion.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
Hey,
might be a
I'm just wondering that if that might. I mean, for $1.35, what would be better returns, Theta or this?
if you know, this would arguably be, you know, a capable of attracting more capital than Theta, I would say, since it's a layer one, right? If there's a projects
Mhm.
launch. This is what I was gonna ask you. Have you looked into like its adoption? Like, are there, like, in terms of transaction volume, wallets created, such
I
like,
have not. I
is
don't
it
know
Well,
where do I go
EVM
to find that
compatible?
besides YouTube?
hey, the other thing to take into consideration is, you know, tokenomics. How many tokens? How are they distributed? Are they already all out? If they're
Mhm.
not all out, who controls those tokens? You know, those are the things. You know, you brought
Yeah.
another token up to, you know, to me through text, you
Mhm.
know, and asked. And the first thing that I looked at is, I'm like, well, how many tokens are there? You know, I think that one had 10 billion as well.
Yep.
You
10
know,
billion.
and you know, what's the distribution on it, right? So that one, the one that you brought up specifically, still had 8.3 billion tokens that haven't been released, right? So those are things that, you know, as new people, when you're looking at invest, and don't get me wrong, you know, if you're only throwing in $100 and $100 is your play money, then it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter if you lose that $100. That's the thing that I kind of think about whenever I play dodgy. You know, it's a crapshoot.
Dodge.
If I get a hair up my butt, I spend $100 on lottery tickets, right?
God bless
Bless
you.
you.
Thank you.
You know,
Sorry,
so
the thought of his butt made me sneeze. Go ahead.
it's clean today. It's clean today.
His butt hair tickled your nose.
Yeah. Oh god. But I know what
So
you're saying with one of those high risk, high reward. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally
Yeah.
take a little bit of capital and you,
Yeah,
you know,
the coin you're talking about was Turbos, which is
turbos. Yeah.
it's like a pancake swap, but on the SUI network. But the market cap was only $8 million. So I'm like, oh man, that thing could easily skyrocket during the next bull run.
Yeah. So real quick, Nathaniel Richards, what up? He put eDoge as the first meme coin on. I say meme.
Doge.
Yeah, eDoge on Ethereum. Oh, from 2017. Weird.
so
And
this is, you
then,
said this Elon Doge is the first on Ethereum, first meme coin?
oh, is that what it is? eDoge
No,
is Elon Doge.
I was asking, yeah, Elon Doge, yeah. I think that's what eDoge is, yeah.
Man, look at those two. Look at that pump. Oh
Yeah,
man, could you imagine being part of that thing?
Oof. Yeah.
Man,
Maybe worth looking into. Like we said, put $50 into maybe
yeah,
some of these more classic or more, I don't know, it could have its day in the light or something. You know, it has 15 minutes of fame and does something like this. But back to that distribution, are there people who are just going to straight dump it if it does this? You know, it lasted for
yeah.
one day. You know, that was, I think, is that when he went on SNL maybe that day? I'm not
maybe.
sure. I'm not too sure. But any other tokens before we jump over to the news?
Bradley said someone told me about bonk, baby.
Bonk. Yeah.
I don't know.
This is what I was going to mention too. If you always have to, I'm gonna give it the alpha to the
That's
people,
Solana, right?
the people at home listening. There's always another opportunity. So there, remember that, and also remember, always know where you're at on the totem pole. What that means is, you know, who told you about Bonk? Is it someone who bought it 6 months ago? Is it someone, maybe who knew about it very early on? So you got to always recognize, because if you're being oftentimes if you're reading about it on CoinDesk or you're reading about it on Twitter, like it may be too late. So you got to be early, especially with meme coins or
So how do you get to be early? If you
got to DYOR, do your own research, and have and that's why I don't like meme coins as much, because how would you know Bonk would do, this went, I don't know what this did, 50x. There's new tokens created every second. Let's just go over to Dex Screener. Like I can just click here. This is a way you can research tokens a little bit. Just be careful. I can't stress that enough. Only high risk capital. But look right here. There's a Kanye token that was just launched. There's a Drake's dog. There's an Anita Max Win, the Drake meme, right? A lot of stuff on Solana
is freaking Trunk getting on there. I'm getting tired of waiting, man. Put Trunk on an exchange, a couple exchanges. Let's get the word out.
Listen, he's working on V8. It won't be before V8, so
he doesn't have to do anything.
He does.
What does he have to do?
He has to have somebody else work on it. That's what it means.
He's already told us that he's had people come up and ask him to put him on their exchanges.
Yeah, well.
So give him access.
How do they get the tokens? Are they buying them, or are we giving it to them? If we're giving it to them, how are we getting them?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like we have a treasury full of Trunk tokens that we can just give to the exchange to list our coin.
That's true.
So
maybe Bertha buys it off market or something. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but exactly. I think we talk about delegation. It would be nice if there's updates as to where the process is at.
Nathan said it wasn't Elon Doge, it was Ethereum Doge.
Oh, Ethereum. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's see if I can find that one. Ethereum Doge. I can't spell.
Oh, he said it was recently revived. 99.99% of the supply is in the possession of the SEC.
What?
That's funny.
I see it here. Ether Doge.
You know what? And this is how you get alpha, right? Maybe Nathaniel's giving us the secret Iggy.
Yeah, so exactly. It's oftentimes the whispers, the small, like I said, if you're seeing threads, like this is a thread about the new SWI, I'm like, you're late. You go look for something else. But it's something like this, tips, getting involved in a community like Elephant Money, meeting people who are, crypto heads. That's how you get the alpha. That's how you find different emerging plays.
And as you research, you start, you're at the okay, all my money's the exit liquidity. And then the next round, you're a little step down, and then you're a little step down, and then you're a little step down, right? But that goes to how much money are you willing to risk? If you're just, if you have play money and your play money is $100 or $50 or whatever that is, then you know what? If someone says something like SUI, throw $50 in. This eDoge, it's just been revived. Maybe it is worth $50. If you hit $50 and it does 100x, what is that? I don't even know what the math is.
$5,000.
Yeah. So big thing is always you got to sell some. That was I started in 2018 and I had the ICO craze. You know what I did? I watched my theta go to $156,000. You know how much of it I sold? Zero. Right? But I'm still at a 5x, even though this came all the way back down. I'm still at a 5x, right? So, it's really hard to hit the sell button sometimes. So take it from people that have lost thousands and thousands and thousands on paper. When it does a 5x or a 10x, pull your initial investment out, right? Pull that $50 out. Now it doesn't matter if that coin goes to zero, or pull $100 out. Now you at least doubled your money, right? Now you can go into 2 coins for $50 each.
No one's ever, I mean, people have regrets because they sold too early, but no one's ever, shed it, gone home crying with a profit, right? You go home with a smile. So 100%. Live to fight another day. That's the huge part of the markets. When you're getting involved into this, that's why you got to think of the mind space. Like if you're buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, because you believe in cryptocurrency, right? That's one mindset. If you're spending risk capital on something like this, that's another thing. if you're seeing something like Elephant and what it's, building the first global community bank, right? That's another mindset in which you need to appropriate, allocate funds a certain way. So just always know that, don't go put $5,000 into Drake on Sol, right? This coin that has been around for since since January 15th, since yesterday. And then see it triple. See, look, whoever put in 5K, whatever, right? Oh, it doubled in one day, and then now they're down. So you gotta be careful. That's I can't stress that. I see so many people risk they only have 5,000 and they go try to spread it around and they lose it all. So
Yeah. They hear all those those stories of, putting in $1,000 and then coming out with 2 million.
Yeah.
So they want to go all in on these low liquidity coins.
Damn it! If my drip bag would have just made its money.
that's another huge, like you just mentioned, liquidity is king. That's a saying that Bank Teller always mentions, because the deeper the liquidity of the project, the more likely that it will, survive over a time period, like a time horizon. So if we're just looking here on the right hand side of the liquidity column, right, this only has $8,000 of liquidity. So this one has 2.2 million. So you got to take
look up Turbo.
Let's see what
or Turbos with the
Yeah,
S.
it's turbose.
Yeah, what's the liquidity on that? This is the one I'm thinking about jumping into as a speculative.
319 grand in this pool, but I think there's two pools.
How do I buy it anyways? Does it show where to buy it?
Typically they'll
What are you
have
talking about?
see you're on deck screen, they'll have a little link here, trade Turbo USDC. I'm not sure what it will link you to. Okay, I agree. Oh,
All right. Hey,
It takes you right to the website.
this brings up another point: wallet security. If you are doing these plays, set up a different wallet. Don't use your main wallet that has all your money in it. Wallets are super easy to create new ones, right? You just create a test wallet, a dummy wallet, call it a Turbos wallet. You transfer your $100 or your $50 or your $500, whatever your play money is. Then you go find out how to buy it, right?
That's good play. Good.
Yeah.
So
good advice.
Pro tip. That's why we watch the show. Pro tip right there.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the news?
Yeah, that's good news. What do you got for us this week?
And now it's time for the latest news with Zach Minter on the Rugs2Riches show.
Welcome in, everyone. We'll be brief tonight. We only have 3 stories to go over, but they're quite big stories in my opinion. First being BlackRock's Larry Fink says Bitcoin and Ether ETFs are stepping stones to tokenization. So this is where's
yeah, sorry. Bradley asked a question about what if he's using a ledger. Even though you're using a ledger, you should still be able to just whatever you're using to, if it's Rabby or I use SafePal, your software wallet, you have your hardware wallet, which is your ledger, then you have your software wallet, which is what interacts with the internet, right? You can create another wallet in that Rabby, right? Even though it's not protected by that hardware wallet. The biggest thing that you have to realize, Bradley, is that the money isn't actually on that ledger. Like all of your coins aren't on that ledger. They're still on the internet. That ledger is just allowing another step that people would have to be to steal your money. So if you're wanting to play around with all these other coins, just go to your Rabby wallet. And I don't know where it is in Rabby, but in SafePal, it's right on top middle. I just hit create another wallet, and pow, I have another wallet. Now, that secondary wallet might not be attached to my ledger, but your funds that are in your ledger aren't going to be stolen if that second wallet gets compromised.
Yeah, I was going to show real quick, like, if you just open a new tab on Google, if you just want to have like a risk wallet, right? Just open up MetaMask or Rabby, and you can just download for Chrome, Google Chrome, if you use that as a browser, add extension. You can make you can keep your ledger as your more serious funds. If you just want this one to be your hot wallet, instead of having a cold storage wallet, you can just have this as a hot wallet. right? Just get a MetaMask, and it's easy as this: 1, 2, 3, right? I agree. Create new wallet. I agree. All right, make a password. I was just trying to do this quick for example's sake, right? Make sure you back up the seed phrase, right? All right, now I'm just going to skip it. You shouldn't do that, but make sure you do.
Very important to back up the seed phrase.
Yeah, and right, and like I say, so bam, I just made a wallet that quick, and now I can go send $100 to this wallet, right? If I need to switch my network, like if we're going to SWI, right? Add network, right? I can add these networks by themselves, but let's say it's something like SWI. I'll type like SWI network. What's that one? It's like Chain Connect, I think. Let's see. There's this like automated one. Yeah, let's see what this is. But no, this is too much information. But there was that one. It escapes me right now. Chain list. That's what it's called. Chain list.
Yeah. But the big thing, Bradley, is not everything has to be protected with your ledger, right? That's what you want your cold storage. So let's say you made that dummy wallet, right? You made that dummy wallet and you put $100 in and you bought SUI, and SUI went from 135 to $13. You just did a 10x, right? You now have $1,000 in that play wallet. Maybe you sell 500 of it back into whatever
and buy some elephant, compound your futures. Yeah.
Right now, you can take that 500 and send it back to your ledger and buy whatever you want with it, right? Because that those dummy wallets, if they get compromised, now you're just losing that one thing. That's the big chain list. Chain list is what Xavier said. Welcome, Xavier. Good to see all you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Xavier. Shout out. And I just realized this: so SWI is not EVM compatible. And this is also how to get some alpha. So right now I'm on the Google Chrome web store I'm assuming this is the official wallet browser. See, I'm going a little bit quick here, which is what you should not do. I should go and confirm, is this actually the wallet that is supported, the main one, or is this malicious? But I was going to get at, there's 900,000 users. So I'm pretty sure this is probably the official one. But what I was going to get at is these are other little finer points of alpha. So if there's already 900,000 downloads and wallet creations already for this network, and we're about to enter the bull, like these are like pro, I little check marks, start looking for reasons why you may see value in this particular network. And that's pretty, I would say it's pretty substantial. 900,000 downloads for a wallet is great. But all right, but we'll jump back over to the news. We should do, we'll definitely do some more alpha tips and stuff like that for trying to find the big gains.
Focus, guys.
Yeah.
So just to go through this quickly, right? With the announcement of the Bitcoin ETF, we now suspect that the Ethereum one is right around the corner. And with that, right, even traditional finance giants like BlackRock and their CEO Larry Fink are pushing towards the tokenization of everything, which is very exciting if in the crypto space. We'll see if that means these private kind of blockchains and they have maybe traditional securities on them. I doubt they might be launching on Ethereum, but what I'm getting at is the more adoption, the more common this technology and more is talked about, it just means more capital flows into the space, and this asset class as a whole, it's bigger and bigger. So right now there's 11 firms that have offered a Bitcoin ETF. And on that day one, right, it was $4.6 billion worth of capital inflow. This number, is that fresh capital? Is that recycled? I think there's opinions back and forth as to what exactly the outcome of that capital is. But long story short, right, he's saying right now we have the technology to tokenize today, right? And right, he's saying right here that right, just jumping down real quick, right? He joins a gaggle of Wall Street's finest too, with Citigroup, HSBC launching tokenized bonds and other pro blockchain products. That's all, awesome. We want these type of, anti-corruption, account, Fugazi accounting practices. The more we can get data and information on blockchains or decentralized blockchains, the better, I think, for the whole, economic system of the world. And one thing he's mentioning here is, right, with inflation largely tamed, investors are rotating out of fixed income instruments such as government bonds and back into stocks. Where does this sound familiar, huh? With futures and people now, looking towards more risk on assets, right? And this is what you just mentioned, right? Yeah, Bitcoin, as it happens, has also rallied because it's become a risk on asset. So that's what cryptocurrency is. It's a risk on. It's not a risk off asset. All crypto is risk on. And so, yeah, that's kind of the big picture there. I think it's very bullish. Like I said, this talking head has a lot of power over trillions of dollars of capital and influence over it. So I'm very happy to hear him speak positively about this technology.
Am I the only one that thinks it's funny that a guy that controls, like, I don't know, a shit ton of stuff in the world is named Fink?
Fink. What's funny
Fink.
about that is what does Fink mean? I'm not familiar.
Is it just, is Fink not like a thing? Like the,
It's just you.
It's just you.
Never mind. I'll have to look it up. Maybe it is.
Let's see.
Making fun of the guys.
Informant or strike breaker. Is that what you're referring to? A jerk?
Well, yeah, like
person?
Yeah, like Fink, like a, I don't know,
like a jerk, like someone you don't like. Like
yeah,
that guy's a fink.
like he's a Fink, right? Yeah, like that guy's a Fink.
That is hilarious. I didn't know that term, but that is funny actually. Now that you mention it, he is a jerk and he runs the world economics.
I mean, that's boomer speak. It's sorry, young guys.
That this guy's a fink. Moving forward, right? This is a columnist from DeFi Llama News, right? He's claiming Bitcoin won't help central banks avoid fiat debasement. Right now, Western central banks are at risk of debasing their fiat money. As we know, the printer may be turning back on soon. It's already been on, a ton in the previous years. And just the more currency that is printed, the value of the currency becomes lesser. So that's what debasement is. Right here, he mentions for rival nations, it will make sense to move away from the dollar and euros. So as global tensions rise, right, there's things like BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China. What's the S? Do you guys know?
South Africa.
South Africa. So, right, if all of these major economies are, interacting with their own currency, that just further that decreases adoption on the global scale and thus hurts the currency. And right now, he goes on to say that, the best way to look at money is in terms of a social contract, right? It's based on law, but more importantly on trust, right? Do you trust this currency enough to use it and use it for the long run? And right, we have the idea that we trust the central banks to not debase the money through imprudent policies. However, it's been persistently happening, since 2008 and even before then, I'm sure, when the global financial crisis occurred. And it's funny here, it says, from quantitative easing to lending practices that would have been considered reckless until recently. I think they're still considered reckless even recently. But right here, right, thanks to blockchain technology, it should be possible for investors to hedge against debasement, though I doubt Bitcoin will be a suitable vehicle, right? What he goes on to argue here is now that Bitcoin is now having an ETF, Bitcoin's marriage with the US dollar is becoming more and more apparent. Like we really want to see Bitcoin be its own independent thing, not glued to the dollar, but
that's an interesting take.
As it stands now, it is becoming more of a US dollar.
Yeah, all those countries like BRICS that are, trying to be the dominant dollar. Yeah, and now Bitcoin's out there trying to overtake everything. What you just said kind of makes me think, oh, this could all be planned by, let's go ahead and pass these ETFs to try to pair the Bitcoin with the dollar more and try,
try to kind of
a lot of theories coming up in my head now. I'm just like, oh,
yeah, and that's
what about that.
Did you guys see that tweet or whatever that Gensler said that Satoshi never wanted an ETF, and that goes against his principles? And
I did hear that somewhere.
I mean, I thought that you know what, last year, 2 years ago. I mean, I think I started in 2018, and I think in 2018 they were saying that an ETF was going to be passed. You know, in my mind, I was like, why? Why do we want this? Like, to me, Bitcoin is the opposite of why we would want that. I mean, take gold, for instance, right? Gold is gold only has value because we give it value, which I guess same thing with the dollar and Bitcoin as well.
Sure.
But with the ETFs and isn't that what's suppressing the value of gold?
Yeah,
No, that's what made it go higher.
yeah, I think it definitely. I think the ETF potentially strangled kind of the market, where there's now these market actors with financial tools and leverage and etc. that they can essentially dominate the market. So, like you're saying, maybe it's not the best thing for people in crypto to get involved with these kind of traditional financial products where they do have these different special powers. It's so funny to me.
Because
So you're saying that the Bitcoin ETF is a bad thing?
From a purely ideological standpoint from what cryptocurrency is about, yes. So that's if you're an ideologue. If you're more of a realist and a practical person, you understand that means that, hey, there's going to be more products, and there's more adoption, and there's more discussion.
How
So
many people in crypto are a purist that say we want crypto because we hate the system, versus how many people are in crypto because they just want to make money?
it's a good question.
I mean, what do you guys think? I'm in here to make money.
Yeah,
I think 10%, but I think those 10% are either super OGs that have so much Bitcoin that it doesn't matter, or they're not in Bitcoin anymore, right? They have moved on because they've seen that the man has taken over Bitcoin, right? So, I feel like if they're a true, cypherpunk or whatever of reason why Bitcoin was started in the first place, maybe they moved on to
breaking
other
news.
tokens.
Breaking news. Donald Trump has won the Iowa caucus.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
How are the Bucks doing?
They're winning 16-9.
16-9.
Yeah, it's halftime.
Nice. I thought this was interesting too. Right here, it references like the original debasement of currency, which occurred in the Roman Empire. The Roman denarius started off as a pure silver coin weighing 4.5 grams. In the first centuries of the Roman Empire, the silver content was gradually reduced. By the 3rd century, so 300 years, right? If you look at America's history, almost 300 years old, it was down to 2%. Monetary debasement preceded political decline. So, right, whenever you have a monetary system that isn't favorable for the people, then you often have unrest and revolution and political decline. So, the strength of money is super important.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I literally saw a blurb. I think it was on X about the relationship. It had the Roman money, and it showed it, and then this decline. Then it had, I think, the Greek, or maybe it was Greek first. I don't know which one it was, but it had, it basically showed it had a picture of a president and a bird, picture of a president and a bird, and then it showed our quarter, and it was a president and a bird, and then it just showed that exactly what you just said. The fall happened as it got devalued and debased.
They say about every 100 years.
Yeah.
That's a new world currency.
And you would argue, I would argue that's why this whole crypto industry is the next evolution of money, is because this tradition of fiat currency, that this experiment that's been going on, we see the fatal flaws over time, right? When they get their hands touching on it too much. And that's what there was one here. I was, right here. It just, this is a great article I would recommend to read. And the show notes, we'll have it posted. But right here, just one thing which was funny, right? It's discussing about we talked about this with the Arthur Hayes article last week about the bank term funding program, which right here, it offers a 1-year loan to banks against collateral at par. This refers to the values at which banks bought the asset. So what does this mean? What does all that stuff mean? That means in 2022, if a bank bought $100 of a mortgage-backed security, right?
Mhm.
Right now, it's only worth $80. So this asset they bought 4 years ago is down 20%, worth $80. With this program that the Federal Reserve offered, it's not that they will loan them $80. They're actually going to let them take $100 against that $80 piece of collateral, which is a no in central banking. That's a no. It's common sense. If AG gives me $10 and says, Zach, can I borrow a $20 bill? Here's $10. It's like, I don't know if this makes quite sense. We probably should have 1-to-1, right? It's just basic common sense, but why do they do this? It's supposed to be in times of emergency, and it's to right here. What this is so funny to me. Once again, they've known this stuff. This finance, it's not. They try to make it all complicated. You can study it. It's hundreds of years old. Tons of commentary on it. Right here, this Walter Bagehot from the 19th century. So this guy in the 1800s was talking about, hey, watch out for this, right? He wrote to, avert panic. So to prevent panic, to prevent, that from happening, central banks should lend early and freely to solvent firms, so people who have money, against good collateral, so quality, assets, and at high rates. So like I said, the game plan for central banking, is hundreds of years old. They know what's good and bad, what turns you should make if you're trying to. And right now, just saying in the last, decade, last 10 years, the central bank has really used its superpowers to, boom the economy and now kind of try to catch up after COVID and all the other world events. But going forward, yeah, great article. I recommend to read after the show. But what's interesting, they also mention is how the EU and the US has frozen a lot of Russia's accounts, right? But the freezing of reserve assets constitute a form of default on the fundamental promise that money entails. So, right, if the government can intervene to freeze it, money loses the critical characteristic of that kind of neutral, right? We want money to be separate from the state. We don't want the state to control money, because if it does, right, money becomes a physical asset, like a luxury yacht or a villa. It's no longer a currency; it becomes a physical asset. So what I'm getting at, the summarize all of this stuff, is that we do not want government intervention with currency, because ultimately putting band-aids on giant wounds is not going to heal anything. It's only going to kick the can road until the wound gets infected and arm falls off. We don't want that kind of stuff. And just to pivot back to elephant money and such, that's the whole purpose in which these changes occur. That's why it's futures V8 version 8. That's why it's there's updates and changes to software. If you don't stop the bleeding, if you don't make corrections, then like I said, a flaw can cause the whole arm to fall off or cause the whole economy to blow up. So there needs to be pivots, but needs to be a long-term minded thinking, in my opinion. Any thoughts or comments before we jump to the next story?
No, let's see the next one.
So just last little quick piece of news that I thought was quite interesting or impactful is Circle, which is the issuer of USDC, which is the second largest stable coin on the in crypto. They are now going to take their company public on the US stock exchange right here. So the stablecoin issuer Circle filed for an IPO with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Thursday. They're essentially going to take it public, their company, and right now it's said that this is their second time trying to go public. They previously in 2022 were attempting to go public via like a SPAC acquisition.
Yeah, I was going to say I remember that.
When all that was hot news, everyone's let's go public with a shell, get a shell company and get your company to go and take it public. Yeah. And but what's funny to me, this little last comment, they claim that, and I was gonna say 2022. I'm assuming I should pull up the chart. Was that around the time when we were in full bull, like when Bitcoin was up in the 60,000s? Is that when you remember?
Yeah.
And
I think I bought into it. I think I bought into that SPAC.
Oh wow. And I think that goes, that's what they were, attempting to do, is to take the height of the market, and everyone is bull market, full bull. That's when you want to go public, because then you'll capture so much more value. And right now they claim that the reason they didn't go finish it right here, while disappointing that we did not complete the SEC qualification in time, we remain focused on building a long-term public company. This is my theory. I think that the market took a decline, and that's what they maybe were like, hey, let's hold off for a moment. This might not be the best time. I'm not sure, like I said, in 2022, how that kind of fell in terms of the crypto market timing, but I'm just assuming that's maybe why they backed off. But they're claiming here that they just didn't complete the paperwork in time. Oh well, we'll just wait.
So Zach, how are they going to make money? Right? I mean,
Great question.
They're stable. Okay, cool. I mean, they're a stable coin, so they should be back 1-to-1. So are they going to take? Are they going to take our dollars and buy other assets?
Correct.
And when they're going to buy treasury bonds.
Correct. Yep. AG knows. You want to jump in, AG?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that from what I've heard is that they'll take the money that we deposit into them for a stable coin, and they'll go and buy short-term treasury bonds and make like what, 5% interest on that deal.
Yeah, something around those rates. Yep, exactly. That's my knowledge as well. Is essentially they print a token out of thin air. It doesn't cost any money to make a token on a blockchain, and they take your US dollar or your capital that you use to mint these new tokens into circulation. And just what AG said, that's their whole business model, is simply to buy US treasury bonds and make a yield off that. And they're essentially just they're by stable coins are fascinating to me. And especially USDC, given that they're getting the thumbs up from the US government, and they seem to be very closely connected with the US from just what I've seen a little here and there.
BlackRock is going to get involved with them too, from what I heard.
Who?
BlackRock.
Yeah, that's what I was about to kind of my conspiracy theory thought. I could see this token USDC may be the official, I don't know exactly how to say it, the official digital currency for the US dollar, just because they're the most compliant, have the most proof of reserves, have all of the right paperwork, in which maybe the US government somehow adopts it somehow, because something like USDT, which is the largest stable coin in the world, there's always this air of mystery, and
they've been buying up a lot of Bitcoin.
They have. Tether has. Interesting. And I saw that they announced they're working with the CIA, and now
Tether is.
Yeah, and they're working with the government of El Salvador. That's when we were talking about that program, how you can put $1 million of Bitcoin and get your passport. That's through Tether. So they seem to be,
What do you like better, Tether or USDC?
I like USDC personally, just because, like I was mentioning, like if I'm going to hold a stable coin, I want to hold the gold standard, which in my opinion is USDC. USDC though has never depegged though, right? USDC went down to 90 cents, 95 cents. Do you guys remember? During this is the gold.
I remember it.
This is the gold standard token, and it even had a dip.
But Tether has not.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. See, this is I remember 95 cents. This is March 2023, and Tether, in my from what I understand, I think has never depegged of all time, despite all the FUD that has been around it for its entire. It even was at $1.20 at one time. Dang, $1.30. Tether might be the hold. Then I don't know. It might happen again. That's wild. Must have been a huge influx of capital.
My thing with USDC is that.
Oh, I'm sorry. They went down to 90 cents. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's like a centralized business, so they can kind of not monetize, but monitor who's using it, where it's going, and
Tether, all that data. Yeah, so that's that pro and con with it being so heavily involved with the government. That also means that they are super. That may be the Orwellian, right? They're gonna because this is also the caveat, right? If you're a true ideologue about decentralization, you should not buy USDC because I'm pretty sure they have that ability to freeze those tokens or do something of that matter where they can like they have that like God power mode where they can like essentially make your USDC something like that. Don't quote me exactly, but there's
Yeah,
something.
we don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard
There's
that.
there's something where they have that. I'll try to find some more info and let you guys know next week. But all that is to say is, this is a huge, I think, monumental, kind of stepping stone with them going public too. And yeah, I know I'm looking to buy their stock because they have a great business model. So I'll be looking to see when they go public.
Especially if they're backed by the U.S. government and BlackRock, right?
Yeah.
Ripple's supposed to be going public too.
Mm.
I don't know when.
Mm-hmm.
End of this year, Q3, Q4. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll be here to talk about it when it happens.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, great show tonight, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think we flowed really well today.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks, Flack. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. All of that helps us, promote just, quality education in the crypto space. We talked about all different things tonight, but I hope you guys get some, valuable golden tidbits to take away.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions in the chat? Let us know.
Also, do you guys like the new format, with money lines and news? We love Elephant Money, and that's still where where our heart is. But there's a lot of other stuff that we can bring you guys to. So
yeah, for sure. Got tired of the charts going up constantly. Then when we got tired of that, then it dumped. Then we got tired of that. Now let's get them back up again.
Yeah. Hey, and if you guys don't know in the chat, Zach has a new series that he's working on. Zach, tell us about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that shout out. If you could share my screen one more time, I actually got it pulled up. I'm actually started a 0 to Crypto Millionaire challenge where I'm creating these episodes in which I'm starting a portfolio from scratch, from absolute zero, and I'm documenting me earning the funds that I'm going to use in the portfolio. So right now, I just dropped episode 2 today on my channel, Zach Mentor. I'm using Uber Eats to fund the portfolio to start. I'm also going to get a job at McDonald's. So if you want to see me, I should show up on my first. I'm gonna show up to my.
You got a job at McDonald's?
Yeah, you didn't watch episode 1? Uh-oh.
No, I have not. I have not.
You're fine. Yeah, I'm gonna get a job at McDonald's. What I'm trying to prove with this series is that it doesn't matter where you start or where you earn your income. Crypto, in my opinion, not financial advice, is the best risk to reward ratio when it comes to investing your money. If and I'm trying to document and show kind of what my thought process is and how I approach the market.
So are you still at McDonald's?
I haven't started yet. But that will be part of the series. If you watch episode 2, you'll know when I'm going to get the job at McDonald's. But yeah, right now I'm using Uber and Uber Eats to earn $500. I'm going to take that $500 and start a t-shirt store, and I'm going to run ads on Facebook Marketplace or on Facebook ads. I'm going to then save up until I have $1,000 because I'll have I have the t-shirt business in the background while I'm still earning funds from Uber and McDonald's. Once I hit $1,000, that's when I'll begin my crypto portfolio. But
do you think it would be easier if you just got your job back from Lockheed Martin?
Yeah, that'd be a lot easier. Like I said, I could just start with I could just move $1,000 over and start there. But I think I'm trying to make it more like a series, more like show my lifestyle, kind of show that anyone can do it. And that's kind of the bigger picture of the series.
I got you. You burned some bridges. You can't go back. I get it.
I think from watching,
they want me back. Trust me, they want me.
Zach, unlike your other co-hosts here, I did watch the first 2 episodes. So
appreciate it.
So what I think it is, Zach is kind of going with I'm going to show you really don't have any excuses. Like, yes, Zach could go and get his old job back or just pull money out of his bank account that he has more than you and I put together. But anyhow, that's not the point. He's saying that you know,
Yeah,
even if you have a job, right? And that money that you have in your 9 to 5 is dedicated to your 9 to 5 bills, right? You know, you can go out and Uber for 2 hours after your main job, and that money solely can go towards your crypto portfolio. So, you know, I feel like it's more of a, I'm going to show you I'm going to do it, even though I don't have to work at McDonald's, but this is how I'm going to do it to show you, the audience, that you don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
Plus, he just ran like 9 miles in like an hour the other day. Like bananas.
You got to show them how it's done. That's what I want to show. Crypto and is about transparency and accountability. So just like Golden was saying, I want to live it. I don't want to just talk the talk. I want to walk the walk. And yeah, it's just a fun series. It's a fun challenge, and it's a way that I want to motivate people to get involved in. Like I said, make gains besides, like you were just saying, besides just the finance, health, wealth, family, finances across the board. So there's more to life than just these crypto gains. So I just want to show them how to live, show them how it's done.
All right, send me the link.
I actually brought this up because I wanted to tell AG that we're going to go on a field trip and get some Big Macs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. And then complain, get me tired.
Bro, the ice cream machine's broken.
Listen, AG, we're gonna run in some elephant costumes and order some food from Zach.
That'd be good. Let's do it. Let's put it on the calendar. Yep.
Hey, AG, what's the most expensive Dr. Pepper you've ever bought?
I don't know, $1.
Spoiler.
See, he's already on the inside. He already knows that you got to catch up, AG. Falling behind, man. Yeah, just a little spoiler. The first Uber Eats I get is to deliver a Dr. Pepper 30 miles away. And I got paid $6.77 after the tip and everything. But yeah, it's a fun time. So you'll check it out. Yeah.
All right, guys. I got a football game to finish watching. It's getting late. And of course, you're going to send me those links so I can watch those videos.
Yes, sir.
I'll probably watch them tomorrow morning while I'm driving to work.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you guys do that or not. You should never watch YouTube and drive, but you can always listen to it in the background.
Yeah. They're pretty quick. They're a good watch for sure. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you haven't subscribe, we're trying to hit 300. All right. Well, I think we were at like 298 last time I saw. So.
Oh, really? 298? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's moving on up. All right, guys. Each one teach one. Peace out.
Peace.